Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we are in Northern Monk. Brian is going to take us around and show us this awesome facility. Let's go. Let's go. So guys, we are in the main brew house, well the only brew house currently yes. of Northern Monk. Brian, this spot you were telling us is all this machinery was Lego fits perfect in this room.
Yeah, we were quite lucky. When we spread out around the different units, this unit was empty at the time, and so yeah, we came in here with the manufacturers and they measured up and they were like, it's just the perfect size. We can do your brew kit that fits just in here. Any smaller, we wouldn't be able to do it. So it really feels like we put a brew house in and built a wall around it. Just worked out very nicely.
And guys, it is a working brewery. It is noisy in here. Machines are going at the moment. I don't know what's making that noise. Hopefully it's not anything wrong.
No, that was fine. that was the whirlpool finishing cleaning, I think.
All right, no, cool. And just take us through the steps here. Basically, you're starting on this vessel. Yeah,
so all of our malt is milled and in a grist case next door.
Yeah.
And then it comes into a mash tun. Heated jacket, so we can do step temperature. So because we predominantly do hazies, we go in at 45 for a protein rest and then step it up from there, which has been fantastic for makes things a lot easier downstream.
Yeah.
Everything's then moved into lauter tun.
Okay.
Again, can be 2.5 to 3.5 hours in there.
Yeah.
Again, working with a lot of wheat and oats, it's a little bit slower than it might be if we were just doing lager or something.
Okay.
Sparge and lauter into a holding vessel in the corner.
Okay.
That's the one that really saves us the time. It means you can be running off from your lauter whilst something is still in the kettle.
Okay.
Whilst normally on a 2-vessel kit, you have to wait for the kettle to be empty before you can start filling it again. Yeah. Having the run-off vessel just eliminates that hold up.
Yeah.
And then into a kettle at the back there, 60 hectoliter capacity, external calandria, so extremely efficient.
Yeah.
Again, boils on a very scheduled program with DMS breaks and all sorts going on in there. And then into a whirlpool on our left here, which we designed to be fairly oversized. So if you really wanted to, we can go up to about 10 gram per litre whirlpool charge. I guess I should say, all manufactured by Brewing from Germany, who we're a really good firm to work with. For a German manufacturer, very willing to adapt to the unusual requests of the craft brewery. They've worked with a lot of US and European breweries, and we're more than used to the stuff we asked for. So been a really good system for the last 4 years. And
the water supply, are you using RO or are you just coming in with straight out of the tap?
Straight out of the tap. Yeah, we're on good old Yorkshire mains.
Okay.
Everything's better from Yorkshire. Yeah. We're quite lucky. We've got a very good sort of medium water source. The hardness is medium to medium hardness, so it's manageable with a bit of lactic. Nice sulfate around 70 ppm, so it's nice and manageable with that. And we don't have to do too much to it. We can make most styles without any real stress. It's nice.
That's good.
Yeah, no concerns.
And now you were saying about the malts, they coming in from the room, everything's getting crushed fresh from that side, being pumped in or augered in, or whatever you want to call it. And you've also got the 2 silos with the Muntons malts outside?
Yeah, so we have Muntons Super Pale as our base malt, so 27 ton deliveries into 20 ton capacity silos in total. Managed to inherit them from Leeds-based, the previous tenants, which was a bonus. So we've been using that as our base malt ever since we moved to this new brew house. And
that's the only base malt you use? They're pretty much...
Pretty much, yeah. So next door in the mill room, we have racking for free. We have 3 stations for ton bags. Obviously 2 of those are wheat and oats because of the style of beer we make. We get through a lot. But that third one, we can get in a Pilsner malt if we wish. We've got an ale malt in there at the moment for doing 1 or 2 special releases. So we've got a little bit of flexibility there, but 95% of the time we're using Super Pale.
All right, no, cool. And then from here you are, I wanted to also cover, you guys are propagating your own yeast.
Yes.
So starting to get into that as well.
Yeah, it's been a hard 3-4 years for all of the industry, just trying to deal with the cost increases and we put the propagation system in when we installed the brew house.
Yeah.
Took a good year to get it up and running, but now we do. We've got 2 free beers with a low starting place, so we've got Little Faith, Striding Edge. So if we're brewing those, we'll quite often just take off 5 hectolitres.
Okay.
Get a smaller pitch in, and then we'd need if we were pitching into a full 50 hect batch.
Okay.
And that just means that every couple of weeks we've got fresh generations coming into the brew house. On the lab side, we've done a lot of work in just improving our yeast management. So we're up to like double figures on generations on the yeast now, which we always struggled to do before. Our Hunch yeast is a fickle beast. But that's really, it's just really helped having that constant stream of new yeast coming through. So when you make a lot of 6-7% IPAs, there's always that chance that you're going to stress the yeast out too much. So we need that regular supply to keep the cost down.
Right. And then from here, through the pipe work, and then it's going over to fermenters.
Yeah, through heat exchanger, we've got pipe work running left and right, so we can go left and into the 240 hect tanks outside, or we can take it to the right, open the bridge, and we'll go into the main fermentation room.
Right. Well, let's go check out the fermentation tanks. Cool. Okay, so Brian, we're in one of the main places of where all the fermenters are kept, or some of the fermenters, should I say?
Absolutely.
So from the brew house, we're coming into here.
We are indeed, yeah. So this is our main fermentation room now. Used to be the entire brewery once upon a time, but we've grown out from it. So in here we've got 2100 hec fermenters. 21. And we've also about 15 single turn, 50 or 60 hec fermenters around the outside, which very much use those for specials. They're good size for heavily fruit pureed pale ales, that kind of thing. Big and stouts. You'll have to find them in this room.
All right. And then on the outside, you said you got the new bright tanks that are coming and new conditioning side of things.
Yeah, so outside we have 240 hectolitre fermenters and some bright tanks of those. I think we first got those in about 3-4 years ago, predominantly for Faith, unsurprisingly. It's been our biggest brand for a while, but we've now reached a point where we've probably got 2-3 others which can justify that volume, so queue another 6.
And you were saying earlier on, this used to be the entire brewery. Everything was inside your brewing process and fermenters and everything like that.
Yeah, we moved in here in 2017. Put in a 30-barrel brew house, 2 vessel, a little mezzanine floor. Lots of we've been doing up to, well, we used to be doing got to the point where we were doing 7 brews a week, 7 days a week, 2 brews a day. All using 25 kilo crush bulk sacks, so that could be up to like 3 tons a day, all getting hand loaded by sack. It was a bit of a ball ache, as you can imagine, a bit of a pain. So yeah, started in here with that, 6 fermenters, little 4-head wild goose canning line, which is now returned back to the flat store site. And it just grew from there, adding more fermenters. Did a crowdfund in 2018, which led to a bigger rotary canning line, which you'll see later on. And we reached a point where we needed to spread out into the rest of this estate.
There's quite a bit of growth happening, should I say?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy for 10, 11 years. It's definitely been a few times in the last couple of years where you kind of look around and kind of go, what on earth happened here?
You need to start going up soon. You're going to have to get a mezzanine level of tanks or something.
Well, again, we've got the outside space. We've kind of, most of our needs now are larger batch sizes anyway, so we can utilise the outside space. The brew house has got plenty of growth in it, so we're okay for now. I think we're okay here for a bit longer.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go check out the next little spot. So we're just in the packing room. This is where they do all the canning for all of the Northern Monk beers. They've just actually finished off. The guys had started at 6 o'clock. It is now 10 o'clock and this run is done, so they're going to be moving on to something else. But just to let you know, this is a brand new special edition. It is a hazy red IPA, so check it out in the stores, coming on soon. So check it out, Northern Monk, the heat beaten heartbreak hazy red IPA. Awesome. Thank you, Brian, for taking us around. Your
Pleasure.
Absolutely amazing brewery.
Cheers.
And you've poured us a couple of pints here. What have we got?
We, it's only lunchtime, so we're on we're on a Little Faith, 4%.
Okay.
Literally designed to be the most sessionable, bar-friendly version of Faith.
Okay.
Citron Eldorado.
All right.
Say wheats and oats. Unsurprisingly, super silky, super smooth, loads of tangerine. But very much designed. You can have a few of them on Friday.
Yeah. Well, we take that off. Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right.
This is fantastic. I can take another sip. Okay, so Northern Monk itself. Give us a little bit of a rundown on kind of the history of Northern Monk.
It's getting quite lengthy now. So yeah, Northern Monk, very much the brainchild of my co-founder Russell.
Yeah.
Back in 2013, his grand downsized to a house. Northern Monk kids got $5,000, and Russ had long had this sort of idea for this Northern values brewery.
Yeah.
And so he saw that as an opportunity to start the brewery.
Okay.
$5,000 doesn't get you very far, so started off on as a cooker brewery, brewing at a brewery up in North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Did that for 6 months or so until we attracted investment from a local businessman. Cue the hunt to find somewhere of our own.
Yeah.
Very lucky to find this the old Flax store where we are now. It's a Grade 2 listed, 160-odd-year-old store building for Marshall's Mill across the way.
All right.
So we set about trying to turn that into a brewery, which is a challenge. Started brewing sort of summer 2014, and it's grown from there. I outgrew this site after 3 years. Added the production site which we've already seen in 2017. Again, went from 1 unit to 6 units over there, gradually growing, and sees us where we are now. 11 years later, about over 100 employees now. Brewing around 50,000 hectare a year. Having grown from literally just me brewing and packing, and Russell driving around in his mum's Renault estate trying to sell it all. So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, and this spot here, you said this is the kind of the original brewery, and we're in the tap room now. Fantastic little spot. Yeah. And we've still got the original brewery downstairs operating. And
we do, yeah. We've always kept that going. Adam, who was my first hire, if you like, my first assistant, has always been based here. Okay. It's very much his baby now, and we've actually recently upped production down there a little bit. For a long time. It used to do maybe 5 or 6 brews a month. It do a lot of our specials for our subscription box here and the like. But last year there's so much demand for sort of smaller volumes of casks, so we can keep the shelf life short and keep the turnaround fast. Little specials for export, all kind of little requests where that sort of 10 barrel, 15 hectolitre batch size is absolutely perfect. So we've grown the team down there, brought somebody over from packaging, and Fiona's moved downstairs from the brewery, and they're learning from scratch, which is a great place to do it. So very much still our spiritual home. Always nice to see it.
Yeah, well, it's nice to maintain that little bit of history.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And yourself in brewing, what's your journey been like?
Not the most orthodox routes. Like quite a few, I think, of sort of my generation getting into craft beer. I have a master's in music.
Okay.
It kind of runs in the family, actually, the brewing side. My dad worked for Scotch Newcastle, which became Heineken. He did 40 odd years there, but I had no interest in a factory. I guess I saw it then. Look where we are now. But no, as I like many students, I worked in a pub to pay for all the nights out. And that pub was a place called the Grove over in Huddersfield, which became a bit of a beer mecca. At last count, he was up to about 20 hand pulls, 20 odd keg lines. At one point, he had about 500 different world beers in the fridge, a couple hundred whiskies, real. And also, this was 2010 kind of time, so this was when the likes of like Odell and Stone and Dogfish Head first came to the UK shores. It's when the likes of Brewdog and Thornbridge and the Colonel were starting up. So like, what a time! What a time to be getting into beer. So I got more and more into it. Realised academia kind of like wasn't for me. I sort of saw it at my masters, but had no interest in carrying that on. And the landlord kind of encouraged me to go and learn to brew. When it spent about a year traveling around any brewery that would take me in. Luckily, we had the pub has a good reputation. We had good relationships there. Started brewing a few big collaborations for the pub and stuff, creating a little brand for that. And we also ended up running the pub and things. It never really went anywhere. Yeah. And then when I saw Russell put the call out for a brewer, when he got the investment to go full time, I'd seen the Monk logo and the brand and just the strength of it, even for those early brews, which maybe weren't even that great, to be honest. But I mean, they were, it was we weren't brewing the best location for the styles we were making, but the brand really caught my attention. Yeah. That was enough to persuade me to make the jump, and I got very drunk at Leeds International Beer Festival back in 2013, and
as we do.
Here you need a brewer, and the rest is history.
So Northern Monk, I mean, it's a relatively young brewery compared to some of these old boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Northern Monk for the future, what are you envisioning? Are you happy with the kind of size, or are you wanting to do global domination? The new Heineken?
Definitely not. I'm definitely never going to get to that. Gotta hope. This it's a I guess somewhere in the middle. Like we've again done a plenty of reflection, and say we've gone past 10 years into our 11th now, and it's that real like, because we're very off trade heavy, especially coming out of COVID, and very, very off trade led. But you sort of look at the off trade, and it's kind of after us, it's just a massive leap up to the likes of Brewdog and Camden and Beavertown. So it's kind of like, well, they're there for the taking. Yeah. And we're not planning on having hundreds of pubs and stuff like Brewdog might do, and we very much want to do it on our own steam. But we think, we've got big plans. We obviously for the crowdfund, we're like biggest craft brewery in Europe, which is the big headline. What exactly that looks like, we've got a few ideas, but it's not huge for us. Like we keep doing sort of, we just keep up that sort of 10% year on year. That takes us pretty much to like up there in Brewdog's off trade kind of market. So just keep growing, like trying to do it all under our steam. Very much. That's if you want to get Faith, Faith to be a household name. We're very doubling down on, we have Faith and Futures as our foundation, very much use our ESG side, so really doubling down on just looking after our community, be that our employees and sort of local area and everyone that our sort of foundation supports. Want to be carbon neutral in our direct operations, trying to do that in a very honest manner. There's been plenty of examples of breweries and other business maybe making green claims that aren't justifiable. Just trying to do that in a really realistic manner, because beer is never going to be great for the environment. There's elements we can do, CO2 recapture, things like that, which can reduce our footprint. So just trying to grow in a good way under our own steam as much as possible.
And that I know we've been working with Muntons with the sustainability. And is that a core or a good reason that you're using Muntons for majority?
So it's our good reason to sort of keep working with them. I'll always choose a supplier, like similar values, and comes all together. The values, the service, everything comes with it. Like it's always worth paying. Not that we pay more, but I'll happily choose that. Make those decisions with maybe overpriced. But the ESG side has been great. Obviously, Muntons were aware of some of the stuff we've been trying to do internally as well. So when like last year they came to us, they had some sustainably grown barley available in sort of small volume, and asked us if we'd like to get involved, and we said absolutely, carried us in. So we had sort of 27 tons of that to work through for the year. So we launched it with an Earth Day beer, teamed up with Muntons and also Toast Brewery, who brew with waste breadcrumb, and did a beer for the earth, which was really good fun. And then since then we've had this sustainable barley, which we've tried to use in our Faith and Futures beers and so on as well, just finding a home for it. So again, always keen to support projects like that, because the farmers won't grow it if the brewers aren't using it. So it has to be a two-way street. So hopefully as more and more of this gets planted, I mean, hopefully at some point we're using fully sustainably grown barley in our silos.
Yeah, I know that the sustainability side is still kind of new to a lot of brewers.
It is,
coming in, and I think guys that are making an impact like yourselves now, for the future, and when it gets down to the time of, hey, this has to happen. It has to happen now. You guys will be kind of ahead of the pack.
Yeah, exactly. And it's trying to do it because we want to do it as well. Like, not say like because the government's put a deadline on it. And a lot of it is just like there's not always been the technology available. There's not always been the growing methods being used. So it's again, you're working with suppliers who have this, who are doing the same thing, saying, right, there's ways we can do this. We just need support, and same from the brewery side. So, but there's more and more, carbon recapture was not available below macro scale until a few years ago. And now there's multiple options out there doing, craft brewery sized equipment, and there's capex involved there. But hopefully there's grants available, and hopefully there's support, and they do pay for themselves quite quickly. And there's also just that guaranteed supply. We don't know when. We've been hit by CO2 shortages multiple times over the last few years. You don't know when that's coming. You're making your own CO2. You don't have to worry about that because there's always going to be beer fermenting.
I suppose the as technology gets better, but also stuff like research and development. It's not really set in stone, and nobody knows exactly how to do it properly. Where you guys are, when I say leading the pack and almost pioneering some techniques, possibly.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we try and say it's the same with fairly young brewery, but also we feel quite an old brewery in terms of like craft beer as a thing. You look at sort of the breweries that came up around us, like Magic Rockens, 4Pure, and so on. Obviously, most recently, and we've made it this far. And I started joking about craft beer years being like dog years. So we might be 10 years old, but probably more like 70. But obviously, we're at the size where we can sort of get access to this equipment and try it out. But we're also genuinely we're at a position where we've probably been there and done it and made the mistakes. Trying to sort of be the big brother of the industry and not in the watchdog in a way, but just in there like what can we do to support, and trying to share. I'd say one of my favourite things about still doing lots of collaborations is getting in some of these up and coming and new breweries, and we always learn something from them as well. They're bringing new ideas to the table, and hopefully by spending time at the production site and stuff, it gives them a better, clearer idea of what their next steps are.
Now we've got a big homebrewing audience.
Yes.
All right. Geterbrewed started as a homebrew store. We are supplying a lot of microbreweries. Homebrewers are always looking to clone a recipe.
Yes.
I know, and I'm guessing a Northern Monk would be a great one for them to try.
Yeah, we try and be open. I mean, I unsurprisingly, I get fairly regular emails asking questions, and we've always tried to be very open. Very much a believer that you can give one recipe to 20 different people and it'll taste different every single time. So try not to be too close on that. So we're always try and get one of those.
So some tips and tricks on cloning a recipe if somebody was trying to figure things out. Is there a way to figure things out, or is it just rather try and work with the recipe?
I think a lot of the knowledge is out there. I mean, I've been on forums myself trying to find out about random new ingredients I've heard about and so on. So feels like there's a lot of knowledge out there. There's still some very good podcasts and like out there, YouTube channels who are sharing the knowledge.
I know it's a bit of a
at the end of the day, it's like you said, the information's out there, but it comes down to what works for your equipment.
And I think with
and that's the biggest part for it.
With cloning a recipe, I mean, again, like you were saying earlier about hops, you could get hops from that region and hops from that region. They're going to give you the same name but different tastes.
Absolutely,
and that sort of thing. But again, it's up to your own taste, your own preferences and stuff to work with.
I think, certainly, I've done a bit of homebrewing in my past as well, and that was like one of my favourite things to do was just like getting new hops, trying them in a single hop, throw them into an IPA, playing around, and it's like why clone when you can create something even more fun yourself. This IPA is mine. This is my recipe. This is the new hop that. It's amazing what's available to homebrewers these days. Now you're getting access to these small vials of like products and stuff that even we've not even got around to using yet, like some of the equipment.
We actually brewed a homebrew recipe and on camera. Guys, if you want to check that out, it's gonna put a thing up top there. But it was straight out of the fermenter, 18%, which is and Jan and myself just Jan went, let's try and make a high ABV beer. Let's figure things out, and he just like, okay, more sugar, more sugar.
Keep feeding it.
And the yeast that we used was a Fermentis, I think it's HA18 or something like that. It ate through the yeast very quickly, and this 18%, and it was really good. And then we messed around and started putting flavorings in it and stuff. And that was the fun part, because we landed up having there was coffee in one and oat chips, and then they went and put Carolina Reaper and Trinidad Scorpions.
Been there and done that,
and all of these things. But it was a great way of just playing around, messing around, something that nobody else has made.
And most beautifully, you don't have to give the government a massive duty note at the end of it, either, like we do when we do something silly like that. So.
And we made this fantastic beer, and it's drinkable, which is important.
Very important.
Some of it, that Carolina Reaper one is not drinkable to me. I was, no, thank you very much. But yes, thank you, Brian. I think that has been an awesome day, checking around your brewery and seeing everything. And one last thing, Northern Monk is available in a lot of places.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
where else could, if somebody was looking for some of the specials that you guys are doing? And
so specials, your best bet is northernmonk.com.
Okay.
We've got a web shop operation all the time, so all releases available through there. Just keep an eye on our socials. We do have a subscription box where you can guarantee all those if that's the kind of thing you want to do. We're in pretty much all the supermarkets now. It's obviously fairly regularly based through there, but obviously that's where you're going to you're always going to be your best spot finding Faith and Eterno and Heaven and the likes of that. And we have the refectory here in Leeds, the Northern Market in Leeds City Centre. We've got a refectory over Manchester as well, and watch the space. Hopefully, 3 more venues around the UK this year as well, which will be very exciting.
Little sneak preview.
Best bet's always best place is always come and drink at the source. Always the best bet.
Yeah. So guys, next time you're in Leeds, come down to the Northern Monk tap room, try out some of the awesome beers. If you're looking for more Northern Monk, it's northernmonk.com.
Northernmonk.com.
Northernmonk.com. And as always, guys, happy brewing.
Cheers.
Cheers.